Bonsai peeps, Mike Toy, Bonsai Boise. So just gonna do a quick trim on this Katsura Japanese Maple that I've had for a couple of years now. It's doing well. It's actually doing so well that it's grown to the point that it's shading out the inside growth. So as much as I would like to just let it grow wild to thicken up this trunk, it's actually going to be detrimental in this case, because the more wild it grows, the more it shades the inside, and these inside branches and ramification start to die off. As you can see here, let me zoom in real quick. As you can see, let's see if I can turn this. You can see the leaves here. Some of this is due to just being burnt by the sun. Some of it is due to being shaded out. You know, maybe a combination of both. So, in any case, a couple changes I'm going to make even after doing this is I'm going to put it in a spot that gets a little bit more shade, a little more afternoon shade, because these Japanese maples are a little more dainty, I'd call them, a little more prone to getting burnt by the sun. Here, let me give you a spin here. So the back side. If you watched the last video I did on this a couple of months ago, you might see that one thing I was going for, I was trying to build out some of this growth in the back a little bit better. This is the back view, this being the front view. So we're getting there. I mean, we've got some growth back here, starting to fill out, but not a ton. So I'm just going to do a little bit of cleanup work now. So go ahead and dive in. All right, back. So first thing I'm going to do, and the first thing I typically do whenever I'm doing a trim on these, is I look for any branches that are obvious, that I know no matter what need to go. And right off the bat, I can tell you, looking at the front of this, these branches right here, oops, they don't belong there, so we're going to get rid of those. One thing I will say about these Katsura Japanese maples is that they do back bud very well, almost too well in some cases. All right, I'm going to spin it around the back here. I don't want this one. This actually we're going to leave for now. I don't know if we're going to ultimately use it or not, but I know that for now we're going to leave it. When in doubt, leave it and decide when you get there. Alright, so I got the obvious ones out of the way. Actually, I take that back. So right here. Well, maybe I'll leave this one here too. Give you a good spin so you can see it. Actually, a downward facing branch, which typically is kind of a no-no, but it's not always going to grow down. It's going to grow down, and then eventually, as the leaves start to grow, it's going to go toward the sun. So it's going to go down and back up. So it may end up giving some cool movement. We'll see. If not, we can always get rid of it later. Today is not a day for hard prunes. Today is a day for just cleanup work. So for now, we're going to leave it. And moving up a little bit here. So we got spots like this right here. We've got good branching, comes up, goes off into two, but then we've got another back bud right there, right at the shoulder, I would call it. Two of them actually. Get rid of both of those. And we'll get rid of that. I'm actually just gonna get in there, and some of these are just dead leaves stuck in there, I think. Yeah. Huh. Okay. Helped a little, I guess. Alright, so here's another one right there. So here's a good example I'll show you. This is one reason why you don't want to let these go too much. So you see the branch goes up and then it splits off into two like you want, but then you got this third one here and you can see the taper. See how it's got this little bulge of growth right there? It's unnatural and kind of goofy. You don't want that. So the longer I let this go, the bigger that bulge is going to get. So we're going to get rid of that. Actually, two of them there. Looked like one, it was actually two. Alright, so we got rid of that one. Here's one here. while we're at it, we're just going to look for anything growing off of the elbow of a split, where the branch is split off. There's one here. This I'm actually okay with because that could end up splitting off into another branch, and that's fine. It's actually coming out toward the back like we want. Here's one here. We don't want this one. Or this one. Here's a tricky one right there. See how that one is right there in the, we'll call that the elbow. Little elbow of these two branches, so I want to get rid of that. If I can even get in there to get it. It's a tough one. It's tough to get to. Got it. Got it. All right. That one. Just shout at me if you see one that I miss, okay? That joke gets funnier every time I tell it. Okay, so those are some of the obvious ones. So now, I'm going to actually work my way up the branch here. So let's start on this one. So here we've got the branch coming up. Got this little back bud back here, which, I don't think we want that actually, so we're going to get rid of that. It comes up. This leaf coming off here, we don't want that for sure, so get rid of that. Moves up, got this guy coming off, and then comes up here and splits into two. This leaf kind of growing inward. Don't want that, get that out of the way. Splits off into two and then continues to grow, which, so you got a decision on stuff like this. So right here, I'm actually gonna get rid of a couple leaves so you can see it better. All right, so you see you got a branch, goes up, splits into two, and then continues to grow. Typically, you want it to split into two and then go in two different directions and not continue to go straight. So you can A, get rid of it right there and let these two go. Or B, you can get rid of one of the two side ones and have it go in that direction. Like in this case, it might make more sense to get rid of this here and keep these two, because this is growing straight up and these two are growing out. So I think that's what we're gonna do. Here it goes. A little bit of cleanup here. There we go. Kind of my vision for this tree, by the way, is to have it come up and then have two pods here and then one big pod in the middle. Give or take. Alright, so that fits the vision a little bit better. So now it comes up, splits off into two, and then this one here splits into two more. Let's take a look at this one here, see what we've got. This one sort of comes out right at you a little bit. I don't know if I like that or not. There's a couple leaves here. Goofy leaves growing in goofy directions. Another one of those decision points that I was just explaining. So here, comes up, splits into two, and up here it splits into two more, but then continues to come up the center. If I can keep these leaves out of the way. And then this way. So you got that decision. I think the decision that I'm going to make is to get rid of the one growing back inward, because you always want them to grow up and out for the most part, not back in. I got rid of that one. clean up. Let's take a look at this one. This one's going a little wild, so we're gonna actually just trim it down so we can figure out what's going on a little better. Okay. Get rid of some of these old weathered, crispy leaves. Okay, just doing a little cleanup here. I'm getting rid of the really crispy tree leaves because it helps us see what's going on better when it's slightly defoliated, for one, and two, when you get rid of those crispy leaves that aren't doing much for the tree, it spurns it into growing new leaves. Okay. So we got a little better view here. So we're at that decision point again here, where it comes up, splits into two, but then keeps growing down the center. I do want this one to grow. Well, I think we're actually going to get rid of this one here. And get in there. There. Okay. Making progress here. Getting rid of those crispy leaves. And moving on to this second branch here. Grows out, splits into two. On the left side it grows out, splits into two again, but then continues to grow. Don't know if we want that. I think we're going to get rid of this one here, which will open up more light for the rest of this pod. There we go. Probably good enough for that side. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, before I do any more structural type stuff, I'm just going to go through and look for the really crispy leaves, kind of like this here. And I'm just going to get rid of them, just to get them out of the way so we can see what's going on better. So here goes. Okay, so I got most of them out there. I think there's still some left, I'm sure. One thing I'll point out, one of the reasons why we get rid of these crispy leaves is because as long as these crispy leaves are there, A, they don't bounce back. I mean, once they're burnt, they're burnt. So they're not doing any good. And B, as long as they're on there, the tree doesn't shoot out new growth, at least not very easily, and sometimes not at all. So once you get rid of that, it triggers something in the tree to sprout out new growth. So that's one reason why we get rid of that when we see it. If you have Japanese maples or you're a fan, I would check out Huron's Bonsai. His name is Peter Chan in the UK. The guy's a wizard with Japanese maples. I watch all of his stuff, and I've learned a lot from him. And that's something that he had touched on actually recently too. Kind of encouraged me to be a little more aggressive with getting rid of these burnt leaves. They'll just defoliate the entire tree when it's like that. If say 3/4 of the leaves are burnt, he'll just go at it and just defoliate it entirely. And then within a month later, I mean, it's just full, flush again. So check him out if you haven't checked him out yet. Back to this guy here. So now that I got that out of the way, do a little bit of light pruning here. We've got, we get back to our, so here's the back.